Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Fun or Run. This is where I take a quick look at a game and let you know whether or not it's fun or if you should run. The game in question today is one of the PS3 launch titles, Resistance: Fall of Man. Alright everybody, here we go with another look at an older title, something that is on the PS3, something that a lot of people probably played, but maybe some people missed because they didn't play a PS3 or something. So we're taking a look at it. But again, the new Fun or Runs, we are looking at these things with a new, I want to say like a new level, new layer of whether the game is fun or if you should run. And that is the physicality of it. How can you play this game? Is it available? You know, that whole thing. Now in the new landscape that Sony has started with all of this no disc thing. By the way, I mean, it's already been here for years. I mean, look at the brand new games you get now. Yeah, you get a disc, but you pop it in and it won't play unless you download something. So you're kind of already there. Anyway, so as far as Resistance goes, currently right now, it is not available on the PlayStation Plus digitally. You can't buy it. You can't stream it. You can't play it. It was there. It was there for a while. PlayStation removed that game along with Resistance 2 on May 20th of 2025. It only was on there for 6 months, a brief 6-month run. I mean, you got to love the all digital, right? Hey, this is a great wave of the future.
No, sir, I don't like it.
So while you could play it digitally for a little while, it was only there for a brief moment and it's already gone. So if you want to play this game, you're going to have an old PS3 and you're going to have it hooked up and running and everything. And you got to get the game, the actual physical game, put that baby in there and play it. So this is what we have today. Here it is. Doesn't seem to require a whole lot of updates or anything like that. You pop it in and you're pretty much good to go. So as far as the Fun or Run, looking at it, whether or not it's easy to get, easy to play, I looked it up online. And if you want to buy this game right now, you can find it at local game stores, used game stores, things like that, or eBay or whatever you do. About $10 to $20. It's a pretty cheap PS3 game. Resistance being the first of the 3 games that Insomniac would make in this series. And then they just dropped it like a bad habit and haven't had it, never looked back. They were on to other things, different games, and, no more Resistance. So there you go. That pretty much passes the test. It's pretty cheap. It's available. It works. Just got to have the old PS3. Otherwise, no Resistance. That's the only resistance it puts up. So taking a look at the game, this is what it has to offer. It has a single-player campaign. It also has local multiplayer. Now, this is kind of like the old Halo games and stuff, where it was 4 players locally. Each person, splits the screen into 4. I don't know how much fun you're going to have with that unless you have a whole bunch of people over. I mean, anytime you have a bunch of people playing something, even if the game sucks, you can have fun with a bunch of friends. But for this game, I wouldn't really consider the multiplayer to be a whole heck of a lot. Now, it does also have local split screen for the campaign. So you can go through the whole campaign with a friend or family member, split screen, split it right down the middle like you see here. The only thing with this, when I was recording this, kind of noticed that it doesn't look like the graphics hold up quite as well as the single player. When it's in single player, it looks pretty decent, but once you split that screen and you're doing two people at the same time like that, I don't know that it holds up so well. The graphics to me look almost like they have a cel-shaded type of a thing going on there, and I think the frame rate drops, but it's there if you want it. So if you want to play with one of your kids or one of your friends or something like that, you can do it.
All in! We're getting out of here! Dabrowski! Sir! Your squad! Go now! You're with me! Let's go! We're blending in it now! Everyone
So Resistance came out back in 2006. As far as the story goes, I'm not really playing it for the story. I believe that there are cutscenes throughout that kind of give you some of the backstory and how this is happening, but from what I could gather just playing it for the, missions that I did for this video, is that I'm not sure if they're aliens or if it's just a virus or something, or bugs. Dude gets a whole bunch of bugs in his mouth at the beginning and becomes infected.
That.
So what happens is the first mission, basically the first couple of levels, they're actually really hard. Because if you look at the bottom of the screen, you got 4 little sections of health there. Now, in the early missions, you haven't been infected yet by the bugs. And so as you get hit, it just keeps creeping down, 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 down until you're done. Later on, after you get infected, you get some of this chimeran energy in you, if you will, and you can regenerate some of your health. So it works sort of like old Halo. Again, I'm going to be referring back to old Halo quite a bit in this because I think that's kind of what it was going for. A lot of the things that Halo did. But each quadrant, each one of those 4 sections of health can regenerate as long as you don't lose health to get you down into the next one next to it. So if you have all 4 of them filled up, you can get hit a few times, but as long as that 4th one isn't completely empty, you can just kind of hide for a minute and it regenerates kind of like a Halo shield. But once you lose that chunk, it goes backwards, backwards, backwards. But right after you get this new powers that that you get from being infected by the, they look like roaches or something. It's pretty gross. But after you get infected, now you have the power to regenerate, and suddenly, in the levels that you're playing, there's all these little yellow. They look like little yellow pills. And you pick them up, and that fills up one chunk of your 4 pieces of health. So there's tons of health after a while. Like I said, the first couple missions are pretty hard, and this doesn't have a ton of checkpoints. So like if you die, you go back. The old saying, you go back. So you die, you go back, and you have to keep beating your head against the wall for a while until you get through the levels, and then it gets easier once you can start regenerating health and there's more health pickups. Because there is no health pickups and you don't regenerate that first level or so. The whole thing kind of has a 40s, 50s military vibe going on. It has some of the usual weapons, but then you get some of the chimeran weapons that you pick up, and as you move through the game, you come up against bigger bosses, different types of enemies that drop a couple different weapons, and so you kind of get stronger as you go. The enemies get stronger as you go. But really the one thing that sticks out to me is the levels. At first it just seems like you're going through towns, and of course this is from the various shade of brown video games back in the day where like it was devoid of color. It's almost like it's a sepia tone, like let's go sepia tone. Here, I look like Resistance because I'm, black and white basically, but in shades of brown. Yeah, a lot of shooters back then did that, and this one definitely does it too. But you're going through a city, you're going through your town. Eventually you find your way into some of this, alien technology where they're turning humans into some of their chimeran. Because apparently, even though you feel like the hero in this game, you're just killing other people that got basically captured by these guys and turned into the bad guys. So there's a cutscene later on that explains how they harvest the humans and turn them into this thing. Again, the story's kind of all over the place, but for 2006, it was par for the course, but good for a launch title, but it wasn't like this game was going to wow everybody that you had to run right out and get a PS3. So yeah, the levels and everything, they kind of get kind of samey. They look very similar over and over again, and you're just waiting for something new to happen. There is a level where you jump into a tank and you blow everything up, but, this part of the tank, the AI in this game, a lot of times it's just like playing peekaboo, where they're like behind something, then they come out and shoot, then they go right back behind something, then they come out and shoot. They don't run around, they don't go someplace else. You just have to hold your aim right here and wait for them to peekaboo back into your sights so that you can shoot them. Not the greatest AI.
Watch out!
Watch out!
and the levels, even though they look decent, they're okay, and they get repetitive pretty quickly. The one thing that this game does do is you see a lot of the same enemies over and over and over again. Then later on, they get these little, I don't know, they look like face huggers from Alien. A whole bunch of face huggers will swarm you, and they jump up and they get you. And this was when Sony was still excited about the 6-axis controller and how it had some motion. So the way you get rid of those guys, you shake the controller like crazy. That's how you get them off of you when they grab you. So it does a lot of things like that, different enemies. But what it does do is, even though you're seeing the same enemies and everything over and over and over again, it will ramp up the difficulty later on because the number of enemies that come after you. There are some levels later on where you're just getting swarmed by, whether it's the face huggers or it's the other guys. There's multiple different enemies. They're all coming at you. And so, I mean, it gets pretty hectic, gets a little frantic there every now and then. One of my favorite enemies that popped up was this guy here. And I don't know, what does he remind you of?
Okay, so she's a dog.
Yeah, after I shot him, I wanted to walk over and ask him whether or not he was the gatekeeper or the key master. I don't know. Hopefully the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man doesn't pop up later in this game. Now, this game does not have any trophy support. However, it does have some cool extras where there are skill points that they give you for doing certain things similar to how you'd get a trophy, but you get skill points. And I actually played quite a bit of it when I was recording this, and I didn't get very many skill points. I mean, you'd probably have to play it quite a few times through to get all the skill points. But as you get them, you unlock things. And as you can see here, I didn't even unlock anything. So I'm sure there's some stuff in there to make it interesting if you want to replay the game, go up different difficulties and things like that. So that's pretty cool. There are 30 levels apparently in this game. Seems like to me they all take about 10 to 30 minutes apiece. So reportedly, people say it takes about 11 hours to finish the whole game. But again, like I said, it is pretty linear. You go from place to place. There are some sort of set pieces where you'll wind up in a big area and you have to fight a whole bunch of guys for a while before you can move on to the next area. So it's not just a corridor straight down the middle. There are some open areas where you got to hide and kind of work your way around the back and flank them, things like that. So that's kind of fun. I kept thinking as I was playing it that it feels a lot like a PS2 game. And that makes sense because this was a launch title for PS3, so it was one of the first PS3 games. And it did kind of feel like a PS2 game. So there you go. That's pretty much everything that I can talk about with this game. Again, it had a second game and a third game, which I have those as well. Haven't played them through or anything, but I hear that there are some things that they fixed. One really annoying thing in this game, there's no run button. There is just, you don't run. You push the stick forward and that's as fast as you go. And so when you're in one of those hectic firefights and you're trying to hurry up and get behind cover, there is no run button. That is kind of weird. They do apparently have it in the later games. Like I said, I saw this online. I haven't played through the other games. We'll have to see. But for Resistance, there's some pros and there's some cons in there. It's decent looking, plays pretty good, has some weird things like the no run button and stuff like that. The enemies are pretty, run of the mill, nothing too crazy, but it does get kind of hectic. Sounds good sounds. You're really shooting like crazy. Sometimes there's some things that are destructible environments, some other places not so much, but it does kind of, it's pretty exciting. This was fun. I was going after somebody down one of the hallways and a bunch of birds flew out and I just shot. And you can kill the birds too, so that's cool. You can kill the birds. So all in all, is Resistance fun or should you run? Well, it passed it on the beginning. for the physical edition. You can get it, you can keep it, you can play it later, even though it's not available digitally anymore. That's good if you have a PS3. The gameplay is decent. It's adequately long. The game is pretty cheap to buy. I don't know. There's a few things about it that just made me want to put it down. There were a couple times there where the you die, you go back thing was getting kind of annoying because there's some enemies and things that pop out that you can't really do anything about. So it did get slightly annoying every now and then, and I don't have a great desire to go back and finish it all the way to the end, and certainly not to replay it to get all of the unlockables and things like that. So that's kind of a con. I don't know, guys. This one's riding right in the middle between fun and run for me. I mean, I wouldn't say that this is something that if you don't have a PS3 that you need to run out and get one so that you can play Resistance Fall of Man. If you already have one, or you're planning on getting one, and you don't have this game, well, yeah, add it to your collection. It's pretty cheap. So, I don't know. I'm really on the fence whether or not this is fun, or if you should run. What do you guys think? Put down in the comments what you think. Also, let me know whether or not you think I should do Resistance 2 and 3. Just round out the series to see if those ones get any better. But for me, personally, I'm going to have to make a third category for this one. I'm going to call it Frun. Kind of fun, but maybe run. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Frun.
Is this going to be a stand-up fight, sir, or another bug hunt? It's a bug hunt.
Hey, thanks everybody for sticking with me and watching the entire video. I hope you liked it. The best way to help out the channel is to leave a like, leave a comment, and tell your friends. If you'd like to support the channel further, there are links in the description. But otherwise, always remember that you never outgrow video games. My name's Chad the Gaming Dad, and we'll see you on the next one. So long, everybody.